Hi Flosstube, it's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. It has been a few weeks since I did a video, and a lot has happened in that period of time. This is a channel about cross stitch, some life updates, and all the good things. So, gosh, I think the last time I talked with you was sometime in May, maybe April. What's happened? We put our house up for sale. We sold our house. It's closed. We've moved to Oregon. We are in the tiny house slash, this is the room inside our shop that we sleep in and kind of have a living area in. And some of my cross stitch stuff is in here. It has been a whirlwind. And so last weekend, I looked at my husband and I said, I don't have to do anything this weekend. I can shoot a video. We've moved, we've restacked our stuff. We've got things organized mostly. And I don't have to weed the garden. I don't have to, clean a room or paint something or get ready to sell the house. And so I go outside and he is putting siding on the gable ends of the shop. It's a hardy plank. He rented a man lift for that. So it cost us money to do that. And about an hour into it, I go out there and he's like, this is going to take forever. So for 2 days straight, I cut pieces of hardy plank siding and schlepped it up to him in the man lift so he could side the two gable ends of the house. We didn't get the second end all the way done, but we got quite a bit done. We got the hard end done first, but I was like, oh, I guess you got to do what you got to do. And I was glad to help him, but I did not get a video done. So thank you to everyone who's reached out to me and is like, did you retire? No, I didn't retire. But my workstation is set up in the tiny house. It's where we eat. It's where we cook. And like I said, there's a living area, bedroom kind of in the shop. So I put my robe on at night and take my flashlight and I walk from one building to the next. It's a ways away. But I'll tell you what, I turn my flashlight off and I can see the stars are incredible here because there's not any light pollution. And it's quiet except for the frogs or the crickets or the birds. And it is such a pleasure to live here. I'm so grateful that we moved and everything is done. So that's what's going on. That's it. Also, Lori Textilis and I went to it was a class at Acorns and Threads. Janine had Becky Nolan from Lucy Beams come and teach us a class on making kind of a ditty bag, I would call it. So we did a couple things. It was a really fun class and she is hilarious, Becky is. I really enjoyed her a lot. So we had some little goodies brought to her by her. She gave us this little acorn bell because we were at Acorns and Threads. And we also made, this is very timely. So she gave us like a thread jewelry and it says life update. This is meant for me, for crying out loud, life update. And a pretty floss drop and just some goodies on that. She also taught us how to make these adorable acorn pin cushions. I put a little lazy daisy on mine. So you could collect these acorn caps in the fall and stitch these and make your own little pin cushions to display. Here's another little one. He's super cute. He almost has like a hat or hair with a part on the side. And then this one, she gives these pins to put in it. And I just put it on there and kind of made a necklace out of it. So you could, walk around your house with an acorn necklace because who doesn't need that? So we did that. She gave us some little snips and an Acorns and Threads threader on a little, this looks like Beth's husband might have made it. It's like a little key fob thing. So we got those now. So what I loved about this is that we didn't have to do any pre-stitching. We simply came and she showed us how to, let's see, how am I going to open this? It's going to be loud, so hold on. Sorry. I feel like I should be opening a briefcase right now. All right. One moment. So we made these little, I don't know, you call them like a flat fold ditty bag. And we stitched on an acorn with some French knots. I put a little, again, I put a lazy daisy embellishment on mine. And she showed us how to make these. It doesn't have an open top, but it has a little, like you could get into the pocket this way. We had a whole conversation on pockets and ladies' garments throughout time. And I would say that Becky's very knowledgeable. She used to be an interior decorator before her cross stitch life, which I thought was quite interesting. Now, what we received in the our stitch piece that we're going to make is, oops, is this bag. I think it was exclusive to the class for a bit. So Lori's already stitched hers, and we need to put them together. So maybe I'll start that one coming up. So we had that class, and that was fun. I loved being local, having a local class. And oh, we did stay the night in Portland because it was easier than going back and forth. I was still in Washington at that point, and Lori was in Bend. So we met up. And let me look at my list. All right, so I don't really have any other life updates than that. Yeah, that's good. That's it for now. So what else have I been working on? Well, let me tell you. I have worked on several projects. I worked on this kit. This is from Dying to Stitch. I think it's a general release now. I think I showed you this in my last video. It's called In Full Bloom. This was part of her Quaint Ladies Club, and it has also, this is the back of it. So you stitch the back, and then you can make a little pocket and have it looks like a pin cushion inside that. Well, I completely finished mine. This is the front, and my girl has a flip hairdo. So she's come in the pattern, it just has like a tuft on the top of her hair. I wanted more than that. So I gave her a little flip hairdo, and here's the back side of it. Now, I felt like maybe it wasn't centered. I don't know. But I counted exactly the way they had mapped it out. So hopefully that matches. I don't know. I'll probably send it to Faye Rigsby so she can figure it out. And here's for my little pin cushion. Is that not adorable? I love that little bees buzzing around the hive. So I finished that one. That was fun. I really don't have many smalls left in my WIP inventory. I'm down to, I don't know, maybe a half dozen, and then everything else is medium large or some extra larges because I love me a big project. I finished this one. This was from Stitch Mania a few years ago when I did All Patriotic Mania for 31 days. And a lot of those were smalls. This is by Blue Ribbon Designs, and it's called Proud and True. I stitched this on 40 Count Vintage Bittersweet by Lakeside. And it's such a pretty stitch. Now, it kind of looks like when it says red, white, and blue. I guess you could kind of see it. But on my end in person, I could definitely see it. I thought, oh, I'll just whip this out. It won't take that long. But look at that house. It took a little bit. And this was a fun stitch. I loved it. So I finished that one. But before that one, I also was working on the Blue Flower When Lilacs Bloomed. This I'm stitching on 40 Count Vintage Lilac by Lakeside. And you might not have seen, like, I don't think I've ever seen it except for the one time I bought it at Acorns and Threads. I had a good part of this done before it. Sorry, my camera's trying to focus, and so it's sort of blowing out a little bit, but it's the end of the day. The lighting's not that great, and it is what it is. This is a pretty good color representation here. So I really loved stitching that hill. You've got the hexy type quilt blocks at the bottom. The girl was adorable and fun to stitch. I love that bird holding the lilacs. And then the way this reads, when lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed and the great star early drooped in the western sky, lilac and star and bird twined with the chant of my soul there in the fragrant pines. So we live, you know what's funny is we live now in the Willamette Valley in Oregon, and it's between the Coast Range and the Cascade Mountains. It's a very fertile valley. If you go east over the Cascade Mountains, you're in high desert, and that's where my friend Lori lives. And there are a lot of lodgepole and ponderosa pines, some juniper trees, but it's high desert and you see a lot more pine trees. Well, over here where we've moved to, there are actually some pines in the area. And I think pine trees generally don't like super wet climates, but there's a variety. My husband and I were talking about it and he looked it up, and there's a variety that has adapted to our area. And so I think it's very interesting to see mostly evergreens like Doug fir, and you'll see some spruce or hemlock in this area. And so definitely some cedar, but not a lot of pines, but there are some pines that adapted to this area. And I love me some lilacs. I love lilacs. So I finished that one. And was there anything else that I finished? I've kind of just been working through my whips. As I finish something, I go to another whip and start working on that. So the next whip I've gone to, oh no, I did work on another whip. I'll tell you. So this is interesting to me anyway. Sometimes I get going on my whips and I just want a little something in between. And so this is not little, but I find this like really easy to work on. And it's very, I think because it's a repetitive border that's, it's the same. It doesn't have, you know, the one-off stitch here or there that can really screw you up. This is Susanna Milne or Milne by Hands Across the Sea. And I picked this up and worked on it. This is on, I think it says 40 count powder rose. This is a Zweigart linen. It's not over dyed. And I worked on finishing going across here, coming down. I had part of this done. I had no letters. I've worked on some letters. I'm come down here. I'm going to wait to do the satin stitch inside these diamonds until the very end. And I finished one of these vases. So this is so pretty. It is soft, and I love the green on the pink. And you might think, boy, that pink is really pink. It's not. It's sort of a soft pink. And I find it really easy to work on the fabric. The fabric is very nice to stitch on. So it's not the hand-dyed where the holes have shrunk down and you have a hard time seeing or feeling it. This is very clear where the holes are. And I think that is just easy. I find it easy to stitch on. So I find myself going to this project in between other projects just to have a nice break. And I enjoy stitching on it. It's a very pretty design. So that is that. Gosh, I feel like I haven't been on here forever. I watched Lori Holt's video today. Jace. It was eye candy for hours. It was an amazing floss tube. All right. I can just shove now this direction. The last whip I've been working on is Persuasion by the Stitching Parlor. And I'm not going to take it off of my Q-snap because I'm not quite ready yet. This has a beautiful, I don't have the pattern with me. It's over there. I'm not going to go get it. But this is about a third, a little more than a third done, maybe close to a third to a half done. And the next section is one of the big manners. And then there's alphabet with like, this is persuasion on there. It might say Jane Austen. And so on this section, I need to finish this little ship. And then there's a third ship. And then there's a little bit of water and this wharf. It has some stairs that go up. And then I'll do the letters or these fantastic tulips. I'll finish it going up both sides. The saying says, if a man has not a wife, he soon wants to be afloat again. So I have watched at least twice the newest adaptation of Persuasion on Netflix. And it's been a long time since I read the book. My books are packed up, so I might get an audiobook and listen to it. There was mixed reaction for that movie adaptation. I loved it. But there are people who are diehard Jane Austen fans who did not love it. So anyway, I need to finish her dress too. But this is just such a charming little stitch. It'll say F for Frederick Wentworth, and then Anne Elliot, the protagonist. Her initials are over here too. So I do want to bring out Summer at Hollyberry Farm. It's my patriotic stitch that I want to get finished this year. But I cannot put this down. And I likely will just finish this section before I go over and work on Summer at Hollyberry Farm. So that is what I've worked on since I spoke with you last. I have been wanting to get my sewing machine out. I've been craving it. And this weekend, I'm not beholden to my husband to do house projects. So, you know, he's not working. He's been mowing the yard down. Oh, that's one thing, is that we had our lawnmower at our other house because we needed to keep that up while we were selling it. And we wanted to leave it in good shape, which meant our grass / weeds here they grew up there thigh high. So now my husband's been mowing those down. And he broke the lawnmower hitting a rock, so he had to get another blade, and that took a while. Anyway, so he's back on the path of mowing and just general upkeep. He's really working on getting our well drilling lined up next, drilling for a well, and he built this entry room. He's been working hard, so I'm super happy about that. And I love having him around all the time. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but he's happy because there's so much work to do. He can do anything. And we got a little dry erase board to put in the entry coming into the shop right inside the man door. We got things organized, and I wrote like 3 things down that I wanted to do, and nothing happened. And then he started citing the shop. I'm like, come on. So I started putting dates by him on my to-do list. And he started laughing when he saw that. I'm like, I'm being passive aggressive, but these are like things that are, I need a light in here. You know, I need a light when you come into the shop. It would be really helpful. We have one coming into the room, but not in the shop itself. Well, I have a little bit of haul. I have some haul because, you know, I have some haul, but not terribly a ton. I'll show you. I have some FFOs coming. I have one thing being framed at the attic. It's every opening flower, and the frame is so beautiful. I can't wait to see it. And I have 4 pieces at Total Framing, and Terry and Sherry were working one weekend and were sending me potential frames for the items, and they're so delightful. They're so wonderful to work with, and I totally trust their judgment. They gave me some great choices, and so that'll be coming sometime in the future. And what else? I think that's it for framing. Of course, I'm not hanging stuff up because it's just too dusty and, you know, construction stuff going on. So when it comes, it'll probably go live at my sister's house for a while. All right, I have something that I ordered before I left the attic last time. This is look at how beautiful that ribbon is on this. This is the Berlin Woolwork sampler. and it's by Needlework Press, and there are 9 patterns to create this gorgeous sampler. So when you go to the attic, the model was by the front door, and I looked at it every day we were there. I just thought it was kind of spendy to buy 9, but they're 9 patterns. So you're going to, you know, if you buy 9 individual patterns, you're going to spend some money on those. And there's so much stitching on this. I just love it. And I think it was stitched either on 56 or 46 counts. So of course I was like, well, someday I'll get to that. So I ordered that. That was a splurge. I picked up, let's see, I ordered this. This came from, I think, Market last year. And now this year, Stacy Nash did the tangerine. I thought this was smaller than, I think it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. But I had found a kit. So I was excited for that. I got it off of Etsy somewhere. This is not stitched. I don't think there's anything stitched, but it doesn't mean you couldn't stitch something on the inside. So about that. I have some fabric that I picked up at the Acorns and Threads when we were there for the Lucy Beam class. So I got, they had Lakeside. They had some Lakeside. So I got some 46 count vintage sand dune. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So, you know, when you see Lakeside, you got to buy Lakeside because you don't know when it's going to be around again. I've been wanting this for a really long time. I bought some Fox and Rabbit ballet slippers. Isn't this gorgeous? It's sort of a blush color. So it's not pink and it's not peach. It's not, you know, tan. It's sort of a blush color is how I would describe it. And it's a very pretty fabric. And I also picked up, I haven't bought fabric for a while. Now I did. This is 46 count Fiber on a Whim Cypress. And it's sort of a gray-green color. It is so pretty. And I couldn't decide which half I liked, so I bought the fat half, with which a fat quarter I liked. Because if you cut this down the middle, it's 2 fat quarters. So I ended up buying it. This is kind of the color that, one of the colors I tend to go to. Like Ann Dale is stitched on Vintage Patina by Lakeside, and it's a greenish grayish color. And so I got that. I also picked up Lucy Beam's The Lake House. I saw this at Market, and Becky's daughter was there selling this fabric. I didn't see it at Acorns and Threads, and I might see if I can find it. I think this is cerulean blue. Cerulean, yeah, Pusher cerulean. And so I had bought a spool that was sort of a red color. It had a stain to it. I don't know if you remember it from one of my previous videos, but I want to stitch this and put it on the spool. And I have an idea of finishing it. I probably will use some Minnick and Simpson fabric, which they are all red, white, and blue. And I just love their fabrics. They're fantastic. So this was a fantastic pattern. Just a big, huge house. And I think I've showed this on my last video, but it's been so long, I don't remember. A friend that I had met at a Crabapple Hill retreat had this pattern, and she sent it in the mail to me. So I don't know if you remember, but the English Garden sampler, this is by Samplers Not Forgotten. That I think it's the English Garden sampler. I stitched that, and this is sort of is this French? This is Hummingbird's Garden. She has a French sampler that's similar, and then this Hummingbird's Garden, and this one's a little bit lighter palette, but it's very pretty. I mean, you can make this darker if you wanted to. Very pretty. So that was Stitchy Kindness. Dying to Stitch had these. I'm going to try not to take it out because it's got too much stuff. There we go. This is Blackbird. A little bit of spring. This is a club kit that she had, that they were doing, and I had seen that Blackbird was going to be in this group, so I signed up because I love Blackbird. And I don't know what kind of fabric is in here, but this one I just look at and I think I should start that one. Then also the Scarlet House. This is freaking adorable. It has baked clay linen in it, and this is called Jane Williams. It's part of the Threads of History Club from Country Sampler. Sorry, I'm talking kind of quiet. I don't know why. I'll try and pipe up here a little bit. But there's a girl that has a little umbrella and it's raining. I think it's hilarious. I don't think I've ever seen that on a sampler before. So that was fun to get. I sort of have been on the mood when I'm on eBay. I'm looking at with thy needles patterns that I've never seen before. And this was kind of a fun one. I don't think I've ever seen this. I'm not sure if it's on her site or not. But it's got a sewing bird on it. And it kind of reminds me of her sewing bird series, the little pincushions that were all sewing related. So pick that one up. And then also, Bonnie Sullivan is a quilt designer. I met her this year. Her sister's Kathy Schmitz. There's such a talented family. Kathy's an embroidery designer. So Bonnie and Dawn Heese are two quilt and wool applique and craft and cross stitch designers who went to Paris. They went to France last year. And they went to a quilt show, and then they collaborated on their way home, and they basically designed this book. Then in the following year, they put everything together, and they came out with this book, and it was distributed by Quilt Mania. You can find it on their websites. So I will try to remember to link them below where you can get this book. But look at, this is one colorway of a quilt, and this is like a sister quilt, and it's very similar, but it's a different colorway. And then you can see how, look at how these fleur-de-lis look a little different. The color palette makes it look very different. And they've got like punch needle. I love this book. I loved it, loved it, loved it. One of the best books I've bought in a really long time. Just gorgeous designs. And so I have a couple things that I'm thinking about starting, although I'm doing pretty good about still reducing my whips. I did also from Acorns on a different visit pick up some 40 count light exemplar from Lakeside. Again, you see the Lakeside, you got to buy the Lakeside. And then my all-time Lakeside favorite fabric is pecan butter or vintage pecan butter. It's just a very beautiful sampler color. I had asked Janine, so if you want Lakeside, you can contact Acorns and Threads and ask them to put you on a list to order. And when they order it, they'll call you to let you know that it's in. It could be months. I mean, it could be up to a year. It was several months ago that I had been asked them to order for me, but they were true to their word and contacted me when it came in. So some friends of mine, some friends and I are going to stitch Summer Moon by Plum Street. This is a new release this year. And these colors are so pretty. It's very kind of fallish. And these are in there too. And I'm going to stitch it on this pecan butter. Warm, luscious palette of fabric and threads. So I think we're going to start July 1st. And if you're interested in stitching with us, just let me know. Tag me on Instagram. So that's in my plans. And also, I am kind of itching to start this one. I've been thinking about this one for a while. It's not a small one, and neither is Paulette's. This is Kathleen Littleton's Oh Sweet Humility. I saw this at market, and I'm telling you, it's knocked down gorgeous. And I bought the kit from Kathleen online. I happened to see the post that she put up, and they were gone super fast. So I don't know how I got one. I mean, they were gone, and I refreshed, and they were almost entirely gone. So this is 40 count Lakeside vintage pecan butter, and it has the 103s. So that's on my short list. Also on my short list are the 2 other Pineberry Lane kits that I got from Dying to Stitch. It was probably 5 years ago. These have been released by now. This one is wool and flax. Is that not stinking adorable? And so I think I'm going to try, if I'm going to start something, try to keep it to be a smaller one. And this one is called Bountiful. So adorable. And they are in the same vein as this one was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to knock you there. I can hear someone outside. Hold, please. Well, there's like 3 cars a day that go down our road. So when a car drives by, I'm like, who is that? Must have been the neighbors. I think they took a piece of farm equipment down there, and they were going to hay the other day. They were working on that last night, but other than that, it's just super quiet. I love it, love it. So I have a couple of things that I bought that I want to show you. One is a quilt that I bought off of an Instagram page called Vintage Blessings. I bought one other quilt from them. Brenda from Brenda and the Serial Starter, she's bought several from that group. This is they call it like a watercolor quilt. And I won't be able to show the whole thing because it's pretty good sized. But there's a central, it's an applique quilt. There's a central bouquet. Which way does this go? This way. I don't want to get lipstick on this, but it has this amazing applique. Yeah, you can see that. And then it has on the side like some borders that have applique flowers on them. The quilting on this quilt is amazing. It is so pretty, and I was thrilled to get it. A lot of the quilts that are on that page go super fast, and I just was thrilled, quite frankly. I loved it. I also found on Facebook Marketplace, my husband, he's like, seriously? I'm like, yes, I drove an hour to get this. I found this sewing table. Is this not hilarious? Look at this. Isn't that pretty? I loved this. And this little pole is cute. It's got a little, and look at that. What? Of course I did have this. Of course I did. But my husband just shakes his head. So I use it as my stitching table next to me. Now, it's about being in the right place at the right time. Because you could look for days and there's nothing, right? But sometimes it all comes together at once and you're like, oh, I really want that. So I bought that. Other than that, it's just the normal, not much going on. Well, everything's going on, but nothing major. I don't have any retreats scheduled until this fall. I have a family reunion in August, and I'll have to go to my in-laws in July for a couple days to get my in-laws' house ready to rent out. My mother-in-law is living in a retirement community now, so I'm excited to see my mom and sister, to live close to them. I just feel like we're finally settling in a little bit and we can spend some time running around and doing fun things. So that is my life update. I am glad to catch up with you, and thank you for your kindness. Thank you for hanging, waiting for me to come back online. I've been trying, but it should be something where I can get back to you in a couple of weeks and show you what progress I've made. So good to see you all, and we will see you all again shortly. Take care.